Hi guys, Reverend Crystal Cox here. Well, this is a message to the Lightworkers. I've been doing a lot of, readings for the Lightworkers. I always fancied myself as a Lightworker to the Lightworkers and a healer to the healers. And I still do that for the most part. However, people that have been Lightworkers for decades seem to be forgetting their teachings. Here's the thing. We're all channels. We're all psychics. We're all seers. We're all healers. I was going to say most, but many, a huge majority of people have been asleep for a very long time. And I'm a little shocked. Why? Because Lightworkers en masse. So if you have a Lightworker that's spiritually counseling you, if they haven't done the work, meaning if they haven't worked on their own programs and triggers, and they're not going to be able to move forward with you. Okay, if someone's teaching you something and it feels off, it is off, okay? Lightworkers, it's time to do the work for yourself. We used to bring in channeled information and we could just spew it out to the masses to help people, and they would hear it and they would use it to help. We didn't have to work on ourselves, right? Much like the carpenter who never finishes his own house. We've known lots of those in real estate in Montana and Idaho and Oregon and all over, right? The contractor's wives, inevitably. How come you haven't finished our house, right? Because they're paid to do the other. So it gets into commercialism. It gets into, yes, making a living, and yes, there is great value in Lightworker services. However, once we switch to this great rainbow bridge, this 4D, this changeover, you're working with their human aspect more. All of them. Okay, Bashar, Teal Swan, just think of any Lightworker, any healer, any mainstream that you followed. Now what you're witnessing is their humanness. Okay, so yeah, they're still bringing through channeled information, but for themselves. You channel information for you. So this is a reminder to Lightworkers to, first of all, do the work. We can still plant seeds like we did before. Tell people, oh, you might consider this, or what works really well right now is to say, I believe this. But people are so volatile right now that that's not even working. The only thing we can do is walk our truth. So this is kind of like where the rubber hits the road, per se, right? We have to walk our truth. There's so much grief. There's so much anxiety. There's so much sadness. There's so much fear and confusion. And Lightworkers, we've known all of this for 30 years, okay? We had the Seth teachings in the 70s. We had Barbara Marciniak. We had the Pleiadians. We had Cryon. Those of us who followed it all from the beginning, this we didn't know it was going to play out in a pandemic. We didn't know how it was going to play out, but we knew it was coming. We also knew we'd hit a time where we didn't know, and where even the quantum computers and the people that looked at other timeline options didn't know because of human free will. And that's what we're in now. So the most powerful thing to do now is to know your truth and to go within and to ground and balance and find that peaceful spot every day. Visualize something you want in your life and you like, and hold that peace. And other people, just think of them, send them golden light, send them white light, but don't get into their drama or their, like vaccine arguments and science arguments and, even politics. Right now, politics is not politics. Politics is the great galactic dark and light fight. The light won long ago. What that means is that the dark elite, the bad guys, their overlords left, their superpower allies left Earth. Sounds crazy? Those of you who follow this know. So we still have the earthly minions and the earthly system to move through. And that's what we're seeing play out in politics. So people aren't studying about free energy. They're not They're not looking at herbal cures. They're not looking at energy cures. They're not looking at just a massive amount of really cool things to build and to do and to be. They're focused on COVID and Trump Biden. COVID, Trump Biden. And the Lightworkers have lost the plot a bit. On so many sites where there's just so many Lightworkers who, they're giving you their opinion. They're showing their belief. They're showing where they're at. Okay, they're not teaching you this. And Lightworkers looking at other Lightworkers. This is not about something earth-based and man-based, okay? Lightworkers, remember the teachings. Whatever you studied, whatever yogi you studied, whatever. For me, you know, Barbara Marciniak's first book, Bringers of the Dawn, when it first came out, I had it, and Cryon Book 1. And those were the two that I studied, and I got my own spiritual guidance. And watching this now, it's like even things as vaccines. I mean, I've consulted on alternative medicine for decades too, and come to the point of, you know, now it's all energy healing. It's all frequency. For us to move into frequency machines and plasma and all the known cures, we have to get over this COVID hump, right? Or block, whatever you want to call it. People giving away their medical, the control of their body over to the medical system. There's always been tons of people who done it. People who believe in cancer, people who, I've had people that died of it. So what? Hundreds of thousands of people have cured themselves of cancer too. Cancer's always been curable. I've never bought into Western medicine. And so right now, it's about people who want a government, want to be controlled, want rules, want someone else to tell them where they can go and what's best for them, when they can leave their house, if they should wear a mask. And they say it's based on science. Well, of course we know that science is, especially in the pharmaceutical industry, it's paid for by the bad guys, right? And we're quantum. We moved from a reality where the sun was yellow and now it's white. Okay, the supernatural changes in the Bible, the things that people call the Mandela effect. Why in the world would we be concerned about what a mask and a... This stuff is so trivial when we've moved realities. So it's surprising to me the people that believe that they've moved realities, know that we've lived in parallel realities, and those realities are reconciled now. And I will do another video to talk about all the stuff going on with that. It's just amazing. More and more people talking about the Milky Way, you know, because we've moved thousands of light years. I say I'm going to talk about something later, and then I start talking about it. Anyway, this video is to remind the Lightworkers to hold the light. You don't need to preach it. You don't need to argue. If family members or friends say they don't believe in something, you just have to be done with them. Oh, be done with me just because I disagree. No. If there's a whole bunch of stuff you don't align with or prefer, why would you want to beat your head against the wall trying to convince someone of something when you can just move on? They believe what they believe. You believe what you believe. You both have your different preferences. People, for me, they're like, when I say I know the truth, they're like, you know, they get a little bit like, oh, you know the truth. Well, I do. For me, I've studied alternative medicine since I was 16. I've been a seer my whole life, as a child as well, probably like at the age of 12. I've studied channeled informations. I've studied alternative medicine. I've studied... and I know how the courts and the corruption works at every level. This is what I've done with my life. And so I know. So for me to get angry or agitated with people that don't know, or me to even try to convince them, right? It's like there's a 1,000 steps to some sort of a game. And people, you know, you're like, you've done that 1,000 and a few more 1,000. And people are like at step 3 and they're like, well, they're trying to argue with you. But you know. Right, so you're the grown-up in the room, right? There's no sense in arguing with them. It does get frustrating because family is falling away. But this is earth-based, okay? This is not the people. You've moved realities. You shift worlds. Lightworkers, remember your teachings, okay? You're not here at this point to convince your family or people around you. You're here to walk it. To vibrate that frequency, to live your truth. And yeah, you may be living it alone. You may have huge amounts of grief and sadness and feeling of despair. And you may feel lonely. But remember, that's a thought. That's a program. You know, what do you believe to be feeling that? And right now, I get it. There is overwhelming amounts of fear and loneliness and shame and guilt and confusion in the collective. And it is coming up in me like, waves, ocean waves. And you just got to keep breathing in and out and keep moving through. But the key is to know your truth 100% for you and to hold that vibration. And that's what we're doing now as light workers, holding the vibration of our own truth. It's no longer going to work to keep preaching to people and healing people and not doing anything to heal yourself and walking your own truth. Sitting in your grief, sitting in your pain, sitting in your sorrow, sitting in your joy, sitting in your thoughts, knowing you for you and looking at you is where we're at. And people are going to fall away. All of them, eventually. Right? Because when we cross over, we're never alone, but yet we die alone. Kind of a paradox there. We're here to develop our own consciousness. When we cross over, we're in the great beyond. We are a combination. This is only a part of our consciousness. Right? And we take that consciousness with us. We don't necessarily need other people to fulfill us. Our perception of them is in our own mind. And our consciousness lives on. And so why not just hold on to the version of people and things you like and you prefer, but you don't need to have them in your day-to-day life telling you how stupid you are for believing this about vaccines or believing this about junk science or believing this about Trump or believing this. I don't believe this stuff. I know it. For me. I've moved into a deep, deep knowing. It's like, once you see something, I don't know, an alien, like a blue being, or you're walking along and all of a sudden this weird thing comes up out of the ground, or and then those of us who are psychics and have seen other worlds and traveled and astral travel, once you know stuff like that of a supernatural nature, nothing bigger, of course, than those of us who notice what's called the Mandela effect. Once you know stuff like that, you can't unknow it. And so to convince someone that you've seen something so supernatural and so profound, you just be frustrating and angry and change your vibration to just be trying to, but I know. Why don't you know? Well, they just don't know. And you can just keep going back to the radio station. You're a tuner. You're a frequency tuner. You can't turn into the rock and roll channel if you're tuned into the country channel. Okay, so whatever frequency you're tuned into, that's what you're going to perceive. And at the higher and higher frequencies, you are able to be more multidimensional and tune into more things and know more things. So these people that are in a trance, that have been hypnotized, that are just listening to the television and listening to their party and listening to things that are earth-based, remember your teachings, Lightworkers. You're not those people. Wake up. It's time. The best thing you can do for yourself and all of humanity is to hold the vibration of your own truth. Okay? Stay in your lane, stay in your truth, hold your vibration. Don't let anyone or anything pull you off center. If you have to cry and scream, do it. Go walk in nature, pray. Shower always helps to calm you. Sleep. We just have to keep moving through this. And I know, Lightworkers, it's like waist-high sludge right now. Keep working through it, and in every instance, it's okay to feel good. And it's okay to have blood family not in your life anymore. You don't owe anyone. Let me reword that. Don't sacrifice your truth for anyone or anything. As Lightworkers, we're here to hold our truth. And it can hurt because people aren't in our life. But did you really want them there? Or was it just an addiction that you had them there? Or maybe a someday, or an obligation, or guilt? Because there's so many different family members. I mean, I don't prefer to be around them. I don't like who they are. I don't like what they say. I don't like what they represent. I don't like how they treat their kids. I don't like how they treat each other. I don't like what they eat. I don't prefer any of that. So why would I want to fight for them in my life because you want everyone to like you? No. If only one person connects with you, and that's the truth, and you're your true self, and you only have one connection or no connections, that's the greatest thing you can do for humanity now. Lightworkers, it's all about you now. We're not here anymore to spread the light and save everyone. We did the work, and now we have to walk the talk, walk the truth, and project that vibration out to create a new earth. I know it's really hard right now. People are dying every which way. They're leaving to other realms. Weird things are happening. People are angry. Stay in your lane. Keep looking at beautiful things. Keep finding something to laugh about. Keep finding joy. Ignore the chaos. Ignore what you don't prefer. Oh, that means you don't want to learn something, or you don't want to look the other way, or people are like, I'm just letting you know that's a hoax, or this is that. Know your truth and sit in it. And keep moving away from people who put you down for it, or you don't prefer. And that's what we're doing now, Lightworkers. Remember your teachings. We're not of Earth. All this man-made stuff and viruses and masks and hospitals, and this is not real. Remember your teachings. I love you all. Goddess bless you.